The Outrun 2024. This is also a really amazing film, and I've been looking forward to this for a while. For some reason, it was on limited release last week and almost travelled over to North Greenwich to see it, but that is a fair old trek. Well, thankfully, it came to Wood Green here in North London, so I didn't need to travel too far. So, it stars Saoirse Ronan, and it's based on the Orkney Islands, this island called Papewestre. I'm on an island, off an island, off an island, off an island, multiple layers of island. Orkney sounds quite an amazing place. There's this sort of atmospheric shuddering sound, all these waves crashing. It's really given a poetic, moody feel by Saoirse Ronan's description. Saoirse plays a character called Rona, and she's a recovering alcoholic. This hit me hard. I loved it. The description of someone who is a recovering alcoholic. There's a lot of descriptions about the stages and how drinking, the habitual nature of drinking so much, as it hardwires into you certain patterns. I found it a very clear explanation of why, if you have that kind of addictive personality, if you're prone to addiction, it's very difficult to escape. I've got an immense sympathy. During my teens and into my 20s, I drank way too much. Up until 1987, that was the year I came out, and I drank myself into oblivion so often. Towards the end of that year, I made a choice to reduce my drinking. I'm grateful I did. I did have friends warning me that I was drinking too much, and I had too many days where I couldn't piece together everything. And even now, it's a worry. Occasionally I still drink. I actually drank the other day, and it's a slight panic when there's anything you can't remember, and you think, oh my gosh, what happened? And I've had a couple of days this year where I've drank so much that I've got to that tipping point, very close, around hungover. But I've just managed to recover enough and not got really bad. And in a way, occasionally I just want to drown my sorrows. I think a lot of people do. It seems to be in the British psyche. It's probably not a healthy way of drowning sorrows, but I've managed to avoid it becoming such a habit that it's a permanent alcoholic problem, as far as I can tell. For huge tracks, months at a time, I've not drunk a drop. So in a way, I've suddenly gone into binges, and that's not healthy. I recognise that. But at least I've only had a couple of those this year, and perhaps 2 or 3 other times when I've drunk in moderation. But changing from drinking to not drinking is very difficult for a lot of people, especially when they become alcoholic and become such a habit, and it becomes a physical dependence, and I think it becomes dangerous. That isn't talked about much, but the Alcoholics Anonymous is, and Rona's mother is very religious, and so that creates some tension. And meanwhile, Rona's dad is bipolar, and he has very strong episodes of mental illness, and he has to be institutionalized. She wants to help him, and her mother encourages her not to. And of course, that's a whole thing, that you can feel duty bound to help someone, and it can be too difficult. The thing is, you need to help yourself first. I mean, I'm also thinking about my sister, my late sister, who was alcoholic as well, and how I wasn't able to save her. And I was thinking about her a lot during and after this film. I was going through some stories about episodes, about difficulties, about incidents. I was sharing them with my friend because I've been thinking about them because of this film. And this film has a large element set in Hackney, where Rona lived for a while, and she got university qualifications. She seemed to be doing well for herself, but then she hit a major obstacle. She alienated her friends. Lots of difficult events happen in this film, and they're portrayed powerfully, and I loved it. I felt like I was going along with her, and I also at the same time felt like I could totally understand the other characters with her. Like her boyfriend in London, who is played by Papia Esiudu. Rona alienates him. She lets him down in a bad way. She gets into quite aggressive states, and it's so difficult. The human condition is so often difficult. And if you've had any mental health struggles or dealt with anything like or DHD, I think it helps understand and empathise more with the situations that other people are going through. So I really felt for Rona, and I could see the difficulties she was facing. She travels back to Orkneys, and there's this countdown. I think it shows about day 117. You don't understand that at the start, and then you realise it's since she last drank. And then some of the situations when she's gone to a pub or she's gone to some place, I guess in Kirkwall, the capital of Orkney. And I'm not sure, there's a blending of narratives, or the flashbacks aren't as clear for me. They're not signposted well enough for me to spot them quick enough, and so I might need to see the film again. I feel, maybe we've gone back to London, because that looks like a much more urban setting, a big city rather than a small town like Kirkwall. She messes up a flat, and I think that's based in London. She often goes into flashbacks. Certain events happen while she's on the Orkneys, but they trigger memories of London, and you get to see the places that I recognise so well from my walks into Hackney, into Dalston. I walked along the canal last week when I went to see a film in West India Quay. I love London. I love seeing that on screen, but I can see how London can be a difficult place for some people. And yet, being out in the wild or the countryside can be difficult in a totally different way. And I totally relate to that. There's a strong parallel with that I got when watching Rona, because I know what it's like from North Wales and London, and swapping between the two, there's a time where you have to adjust to get used to the urban environment or the very rural environment, the sparse population, the openness of the countryside. She volunteers. She's looking for work. She does find things to do in the Orkneys, and she's actually working spotting birds, work to help conservation, and that's brilliant. That's something I'm so interested in as well. Characters like her dad talk about the wind turbines and the way the green future that's hopefully coming to many parts of Britain. We really do need to do our best to ameliorate climate change, the climate crisis, before it gets worse. So there's all this atmosphere, there's all these beautifully woven storylines about how it is to be an alcoholic, about how you can perhaps recover, all the friendships and the familial relationships, how you get on with parents, all these different things described beautifully. And I love that in this story. I thought it was amazing. I'm going to score this 9.25. The atmosphere, the cinematography, everything about it. I'd love to watch it again very soon. Great film, brilliant acting, all the main characters. I'd love to know what you think if you've seen this film. Please like if you like this. Thanks for subscribing. Hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.